Hey Dylan,
How are you?
I'm good. A little depressed about the snow that we got today. I'm
Yeah,
not sure about you, but
yeah.
that
It's
was
two
brutal.
70-degree days on the East Coast, Monday and
Yeah,
Tuesday. And even
and then
yesterday wasn't that bad. And then today was just like, ha, oh, enough of that. No more.
I was pretty upset. I was at work, and then all of a sudden we're like, no, it's totally rain, and then it just started snowing. And we're like, all right,
Like I've started staying late at work Wednesday and Thursday to just do extra work. And I didn't even look outside. And then I was leaving today and I walk out and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So, but
it was snowing.
it was snowing, but you know where it's not going to be snowing this weekend? Because if it would, that would be bad.
China.
China. So that's good because I've never seen an F1 race in the snow. I think that'd be pretty sick, but I don't think this is a week to do it. So
Actually, lives.
uh if I would have canceled the entire season if that ever happened. But so we have a lot to talk about today. F1 is officially back. We're a race in. We obviously have China this weekend, but we also had Australia last weekend, and a lot of stuff happened. So we
Hmm.
have to go over it because the new regulations certainly are interesting.
Something. That's a word for it.
Something like I can't really make an opinion yet because like Australia is always like this where it's just kind of eh. Like last year, I think it was a little different because it was raining, but
Hmm.
this year, like not a ton happened. Like a lot of stuff happened, but not anything in terms of racing, I guess is a way to
I
say
was
it.
gonna say not anything like mind-blowing per se.
Yeah. So we have to discuss that. We have to discuss our predictions from last week because neither of us really knew what we were doing, and it shows, but we'll have a better idea after watching. And then we have to talk fantasy because I made a bunch of changes. I don't think you're going to, but I made a bunch.
I
So
have some faith. I'm gonna roll with what I did last year and not touch a thing
I uh I can't lose to my dad again
for
this year.
now.
I can't do it again. I
For
cannot
now,
lose to him again. So actually I
that's
didn't lose
fair.
to him last year. What am I talking about? I lost to Tori last year, but I can't lose again. I'm not doing it.
Y'all lost Tory last year.
Yeah. So um but I think we get right into it with our
Like,
recap of the Australian GP. Um, because even though the race wasn't, you know, crazy, it did give us kind of good information as to what to expect for the rest of the year in terms of who's going to be the teams that are to look for and just kind of see what the new regulations are. Um,
uh,
but it also gave a lot of ideas of issues with the regulations because of just kind of the general wear and tear and the general lack of confidence in the actual car. Um, which showed right in qualifying because Max crashed before he even put a lap in,
I
which is
mean, dude,
unreal.
literally like the first turn, it was crazy.
Which is also
Yeah,
crazy
and
too
people
because
were like,
that's
yeah,
it's probably the reason Kimi even was able to qualify because Kimi Antonelli crashed his car in FP3, destroyed it, um, and was rushing to get qualifying done. But because as soon as qualifying started, Max crashed and red flagged the session. Mercedes had extra time to put the finishing touches on the car, and he was able to go, which was crazy. But
it was meant to happen, you know? Maybe Max did it
Max
subconsciously, you
did it
know?
for him again. He loves just helping
Yeah.
his little guy out
Just subconsciously. You never know.
subconsciously. So,
You never.
qualifying wasn't really anything crazy. Like the Mercedes are rocket ships, and it was very evident from the beginning. Hadjar did end up qualifying P3, which is pretty cool because Red Bull might have a second driver now that actually is worth having.
Crazy. Crazy to think about that.
Crazy to think about that indeed. I believe it was because I don't have it written here. We didn't write the qualifying one, but I believe it was George, Kimmy, Hadjar, Leclerc, Lewis, or maybe some, no, Lando, then Lewis, I believe it was.
Let me
Some of
check.
them. No, it was Oscar, but then things happened that we have to discuss on next too.
Qualifying was George, Kimmy, Isaac, Charles, Oscar, Lando, Hamilton.
I know Hamilton. So Lewis was all at seventh? Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. And Max, of course, was dead last.
Yeah, because Lawson, Lindblad, Bortoletto, all
Oh, by
coming
the
back,
way, RB looking kind of sugar-free Red Bull, as some people like to call it, look very good.
which was shocking to
Shocking, and I
me.
love it.
I was like jaw on the floor. I was like,
Arvid Lindblad's a
"Oh."
dog, and I've been saying it for a year on this podcast that he is a
It-
absolute freak, and
his
it's showing.
interview, yeah, his little interviews after were so funny. He was like, I don't know if you saw, you could definitely tell he's like in on another planet right now. I think it's so funny.
I think he's
He's
going
so
to be a
excited.
future star. Like we're not going to talk about him today because there isn't that much to talk about with him, but he just looks so good that I think when Max inevitably does give up and retire from Red Bull just because F1 bothers him too much, Arvid Lindblad's taking that spot, and he and Isaac are going to be that pairing for the next 10 years. Because I love Isaac too. I've said that, so
I could see it.
that would be cool. So, but getting into the race, quick stuff. Obviously Australia, the home race for Oscar Piastri, he had pretty massive expectations, but for the second year in a row, a car doesn't make it to the start because he crashes. This wasn't even on a formation lap. This was on the lap driving to the grid beforehand. Isaac ended up crashing and putting himself.
I He has got to have some bad juju or something in Australia for this to happen, not only once, but twice in Australia. Like, there's just, and honestly, for no rhyme or reason. Did we ever find out why he crashed?
I didn't see it. Like obviously last year's because of the rain, but that he was in a battle in the rain and he crashed. But this year I had nothing.
It's just fair, but like, it, yeah, it just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Which also think about that because how crazy last season was that that feels like it was 3 years ago when Oscar did that. But we can only hope for that again this year,
Yeah.
having something like that. But Oscar did ends
I
up
don't know. I don't know.
Oscar ended up crashing. Like we said, the videos of like some of the Australian fans watching that was just I felt it in my soul that how bad that was. But he wasn't the only person to not start the race. Nico Hulkenberg never makes it to the line and doesn't start the race. Um, and Max ends up immediately gaining 2 places because of it, because he was going to start from P20. He ends up obviously going ahead of Oscar and Nico. I believe Lance Stroll, maybe? I don't know who it was, started from the pit lane. So there was another one that Max passed right away. But in typical Max fashion, he's driving from the back of the grid back into the top again. So um, pretty fun.
Yeah, it was either Stroll or Alonso. One of the Astons. It might
I
have been
don't
Stroll. I
remember.
think you're right.
I don't want to give the wrong info, so I'm just gonna say it's one of those two. Um,
Hines was out too, wasn't he?
at the end of the well, he actually it may have been Sainz because he was getting very little time during practice and tests or practice and qualifying because of car issues and stuff like that. Which showed in the race because he struggled, but
Yeah, it says
it may have been him.
Stroll, Sainz, and Verstappen give her permission to start after failing to set a lap time. So I think Stroll, Sainz, and Verstappen all started from the pit lane.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
realize
also
that.
Lance had to get an FIA permission to just be in the race because he didn't have enough laps under his belt. Like it's ridiculous. But
Yeah.
um, getting to the good parts of this race, though, the start was something. Like I actually watched it in real time. Sydney watched it the next morning, but me and my dad are sitting on the couch. This is after I was already deathly sick all day. It was a brutal day, so I was just like struggling to just be awake for it. But I saw those Ferraris get off the line. I'm like, oh my God, I nailed that prediction because they end up going from what do we say, P4 with Charles to P1.
Got
Lewis in
four P7.
P7, which was really P6 because Oscar crashed, but P7, P6 to P3. George had a good start. He ended up staying in P2. Kimmy dropped all the way back. Isaac stayed where
Yeah.
he is. Like it was chaos at the start, but like in a good way in the fact that no one crashed. But if Ferrari's doing that every single week, if they just have one good qualifying session where Charles is in or Charles or Lewis is in first or second and they're starting like that, they're going to get themselves a big enough advantage off turn one that it is going to be hard for Mercedes to figure it out.
I don't know. Toto smirk on the broadcast was kind
Was
of.
scary. He knows how good of a car he built.
Oh yeah, he does. Even everybody was like, "Oh,
Well, it's just like George, not almost instantly, but like very quickly catches back up to Charles, and they're going back and forth for 20 laps. Um, George finally gets it because of just not he got it, but it was also just typical Ferrari strategy, just going down the drain as always, because um, who ended up crashing? Or Isaac ends up having car issues, which really sucked because he was driving a good race. Um,
was."
Car issues leads to a virtual safety car, and every single team pits except for Ferrari and maybe a couple others. Um, but Mercedes gets a big advantage of that. Ferrari was going to hope to try to do it long, expecting more virtual safety cars because
Uh,
of the fact,
trying to the one stop, maybe. I can't remember.
well, they were just expecting more reliability issues and having tire offsets at the end, right? Because like, which it did happen. Like Valtteri then ends up also having an issue, but puts the car right in front of the pit lane, so it closes the pit lane. So
Yeah,
Ferrari
so
got
nobody could get
screwed by
out.
that. Because Ferrari would have benefited by that a ton because they would have pit. They still be behind the Mercedes, but they'd have 10 lap newer tires. They probably would have been able to take it to the end and it would be a lot closer, right? Because they can't pit, they have to then pit when it's green flagged again, lose a bunch of time. Um, Lewis was on the radio saying that at least one of them should have pit in the first time, but they didn't. They didn't offset the strategy. So
Why? I don't know. I don't know why they do. I don't know. I feel like that's something that people tend to kind of overlook in Formula One is like, yeah, it's all like fast cars and stuff, but it's like if your strategy's not down pat,
yeah, I think
a
last year
little,
brought it.
I don't know.
Yeah, last year brought it more to the forefront because McLaren messed it up as much as they did. I think this year's going to bring it to even more of the forefront because Ferrari is going to be a contender this year, and they're just consistently getting it wrong. So unless they figure it out, it's going to be a forefront on topic of conversation. I was talking to my to Eddie. I don't, you obviously never bet Eddie, but he was in the league last year with us. We were talking about it, and we both agreed that Lewis has to just make the decision himself now, because like you can't trust the Ferrari strategy to do it. And he would have nailed the decision had he done what he thought he should have. So
You just kind of have to go with your gut at that point.
yeah, and
He's been in it long enough. I'm surprised he hasn't at least tried to test it out, especially last year. But
yeah, I do want to just say though, like obviously the strategy didn't help. The second part was not really their fault. It was just unlucky, but the first one probably was not a great call. Lewis was thrilled after the race. Like, obviously, he knows the strategy had to be better, but he also said that this car feels better than it's ever felt before.
which is, I mean, and again, it's the first race of the season. Like there is so much that could happen and so much improvement as well that they could see. So I think he's happy that he helped design the car this year.
I, yeah, I think it's nice to see Lewis happy again because I want him to. I think he will win a race this year. I think he wins a couple this year. We're gonna see what we think about this weekend, but it'll be interesting for sure. But getting back to it, after those issues, nothing really happened. The Ferraris pitted and fell back. Kimi and George ran away with it. George won the race. Um, Max and Lando did end up having a battle at the end. Lando or Max drove all the way up from P20 to P6. Lando was in
Yeah,
P5 virtually the entire race because he couldn't pass Arvid Lindblad at the start. But Lando's never going to compete with those top four right now.
he's not at
Max
the
ended
moment.
up catching him. Lando held him at bay the entire time, which was pretty impressive. And it ended up finishing Lando 5, Max 6, with Lewis fourth and Charles in third. Arvid Lindblad shined, like I said. He was incredible.
I forget where
Uh,
he.
but you know who else shined because he actually finished ahead of Arvid Lindblad because Arvid Lindblad finished eighth, and I completely forgot to talk about it.
Ollie.
Ollie Behrman was incredible, but no one really paid attention to it because there was so much going on at the front at the
There
beginning.
was a lot going on, yeah.
Ollie
But to be
Behrman,
fair, go ahead, finish.
it's just like he's consistently great. Like
I
he
love
outperforms
Ollie.
the car every time. Like he
He's
made Esty
fine.
Bestie look terrible
I
because Esty
know.
Bestie's out of the points and Ollie's best in the midfield. But even SD Bestie wasn't bad. Like P11 and a Haas, like the guys he was behind, like Bortoleto looked very good. Lindblad looked incredible. Gasly's one of the better midfield drivers. Like I wouldn't put too much hate on SD Bestie yet. Like he's got to not do that
Well,
every time, but
and this race was so weird too because you also had Norris and Verstappen sitting 50 seconds
yeah,
behind
that's
George.
I
And
didn't even
everybody
notice
after
that.
that was plus a lap until you get to literally Colapinto and
Colapinto
Stroll
and Sainz
was
in two
plus
laps.
15.
Well, it's what Aston Martin kept doing.
Plus
I don't know if
15.
you saw it because they did it with Stroll a couple of times. They did it with Alonso a couple of times. They retired the car, but because they have no data on anything, they then put them back out on the track just to get data, even though they're 10 laps behind. Alonso ends up retiring anyway. Stroll came out with like 3 laps to go just to get data and finished 15 laps behind everyone because of it.
I I was just laughing at the end because they were just like it was like Stroll plus 15 and I was
Yeah.
like,
I
what?
think they did the same with Checo too, because Checo was 3 laps behind, but
I'm sure they did.
which makes
Yeah.
more sense because Cadillac, but
Did you see Cadillac's mirrors literally fly off? Oh my God. And Kimmy was like dropping bombs on the actual race track.
Mario
Oh my
Kart got finished.
God. Like I totally forgot that happened. I forget was it a cool
It was a cooling fan
or
for
something?
Kimmy's car.
Like
And Lando literally
didn't.
he hit it flush too. It wasn't like he hit the like clipped it or hit the side of it. He just completely destroyed it.
They were kind of talking. He kind of hit it in the perfect spot though, because if it went anywhere else, it would have probably retired his car.
Yeah. That was in qualified though, so it would have been fine, but still damage that you don't want to deal with.
I totally forgot that that happened this weekend.
What about the fact that Liam Lawson almost killed everyone at the start?
Yeah, dude. What I did he stall? I don't know what
Well,
happened
it's
there.
because the spooling thing that everyone keeps not understanding how to deal with. Like the car's out of battery when you get to the line, which Kimmy and George both said the cars were out of battery when they had to start. I guess that's probably what happened with Lawson because if you look at the video, it was Colapinto, I believe.
Yeah, he
Lawson
like
barely moved.
options.
Franco's making a pass, but doesn't see Lawson in front of him, and like goes to the side to make the pass, and Lawson's there. He has to go even further to the right just to get by him. Like that could have been bad.
Dude, that was an insane save on Colapinto's part. Like that was
He's got
that's
some
this almost
ridiculous
bad.
save.
That's as bad as do you remember I think it was an FP F2 or F3 with Isaac Hajar and the
Mhm. I
save
was
I
just
think in
thinking that
Monaco.
in Monaco's tunnel, in the Monaco tunnel. Yeah, that yeah.
Scary.
The reflexes on these drivers is nuts. So
Oh my gosh. That's why I said like even if you're bad in F1, you're still an insane driver.
exactly. So but yeah, that's really everything that happened in Australia. It's interesting to see because we do obviously need to talk about the regulations a bit because there was a lot of passing at the beginning, but also there was a lot of trains at the end with guys like Lando and Max. Like even at the beginning, Lando was struggling to pass Arvid Lindblad, which probably shouldn't happen. Um, but there's also
Yeah.
the Ferrari Mercedes battle was great at the beginning. That would be pretty fun to see all season. But what do you kind of think about these regulations?
I don't know. I don't know if I really agree with the whole battery thing because we're now what 50% battery, 50% gas, I guess now,
I
right?
don't really know. I can't even describe it. It's like
I don't fully understand it. I feel like it's just going to cause a lot more issues than it needs to. And I don't know if the reason why we're relying more of basically an electric car, hybrid car, is to like appease to like environmental standards or if it's supposed to be like genuinely challenging for people. Because I don't really see the benefit of it other than, I mean, literally seeing what happened with Lawson and trying to actually kill people on the start. So,
I like I always go back to him because I think average F1 guy is really good and he's funny but he's informative, right? But like
yeah.
he explained it pretty well in the fact that it's going to be hard to justify it on like these high speed racetracks, right? Because like the whole point and the whole thing with the battery is when you have the slow turns and you're off the gas on the brakes, you're recharging the battery when you're doing that, right? Tracks like Silverstone, tracks like even China this weekend, Australia last weekend, there's not a ton of slow corners, but you're able to do that. Like Silverstone,
There's
especially,
no
there's 2 slow corners and they're both at the beginning of the lap. So by the time you're at the end of the lap, you're gonna have no battery left. Like, how do you
yeah.
manage that? Like, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, but it also could look to like Silverstone's been the most entertaining race the last like 5 years. How can it live up to that again with these new regulations? Just kind of
I
weird.
just, I, yeah, again, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. Like, I think if maybe we eased up on some other regulations and just kind of focused on the whole battery thing rather than adding additional factors to it, maybe it would be more interesting. Like, if it was something that we were doing last season, but I think with that, with the combination of a lot of other, I mean, honestly, just limitations that they've been putting on the drivers and the cars, I mean, we're basically just gonna be watching freaking tractors race by the end of the season at this point. Like, I don't know.
And I think there's definitely some tweaking that needs to be done. But we'll see what ends up happening with it. There's a lot of time. It's still early, first race. But there's also could be like if there's a slow circuit and it just looks incredible, and then this entire conversation is going to change. So we'll see. We have
I
a lot of time to figure it
guess.
out. A lot of
Yeah,
time to figure it out.
I suppose.
But that
Suppose.
leads us into the great Chinese Grand Prix this week. Because there's a
Mhm.
lot of stuff going on. It looks like Ferrari's going to bring some changes this weekend, which you wrote this here. I don't really know much about it, so I'd love
Yeah.
for you to describe this to me because obviously we
I
saw
wrote
the
down a
fancy
few.
wing at the beginning of the season, but I don't
Yeah, so
know. No.
apparently, I mean, I guess it kind of plays into your whole prediction, and I guess what we'll see this weekend. So obviously, Mercedes is a freaking rocket ship. That was we saw last weekend, but it looks like Ferrari's looking to use that new rear wing that like rotates. I read that it was called a flip-flop or like a Macarena wing. I don't know. But maybe that could possibly lessen the gap between Mercedes and Ferrari. Maybe it's not going to be that much of a big deal. Who knows? Nobody will ever know. I don't know if you read too, but I think we can agree that McLaren was having some
Issues.
issues.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but so I don't you have when you're like a buyer of an engine, so like supplier essentially. So like McLaren is using a Mercedes power unit. They aren't getting all of the data and stuff that
I did see this.
Mercedes wouldn't necessarily be getting.
Well,
So I
yeah,
think
exactly. Because it's one of those things that Mercedes is, they've been dealing with this engine for what, probably 2 years now, whereas McLaren's probably had it
probably
for like maybe a year, if then.
that.
So
So it's
Mercedes has a
like
lot more understanding of it.
that's what I said. So like I think there's a whole debate going on right now of like, is it fair or unfair to not just McLaren, but other teams that are buying from engine suppliers? Like, I mean, if you look at Red Bull, like Red Bull basically has their own engine with Ford, but then again, it kind of
But it's brand new.
no, I feel like
Still early.
yeah, there's a lot of I don't know, I think there's a lot of discussion and topic about it, but
But I think that's also the argument of if you want to get more data, then just do it yourself. Like, obviously, it's expensive and it's hard to
yeah,
do, but that's also why you're going to have the advantage of the teams like Mercedes, a team like Ferrari. Red Bull isn't there yet because um,
it's the first
they're still
iteration.
new with it, right?
Yeah.
But they'll probably be there eventually. I personally don't really think there's like me and my dad were talking about this, and like obviously designing a race car engine is a lot different than designing an engine for a normal car, right?
Obviously.
McLaren, I think probably could do it if they wanted to do it themselves. It's expensive and it's not the same as what they're building now. Um, but it's doable. Like Renault did
Surprised.
it.
Yeah, it's so I'm surprised they honestly like haven't, to be
I think
quite
Renault
honest.
still does it actually. Doesn't Renault do it for Alpine?
They might have a rental engine. I can't remember what they have this year.
Let's
Uh,
see.
Alpine might have. I forget what Audi has.
Who makes the engine for Alpine? They're using Mercedes engines from starting this year, actually. That's crazy. I did not know that.
There's a lot of
Um,
Mercedes on the grid this year. So Audi's using Audi. Will I forget what Williams was using. Was Williams using Ferrari or no?
Williams is using Mercedes, I believe.
There's another one. Aston Martin is using
Honda, because they took Red Bulls.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize my guy Jack Crawford was their reserve driver. That just clicked. Yeah, because then you have Cadillac, which is using Ferrari.
Yeah. Ferrari, I believe, has Cadillac, Haas, and themselves. Mercedes has Mercedes, McLaren, Williams, and who did I forget?
Uh, Not Alpine, Williams,
Oh,
right?
Alpine. Yes, Alpine and Williams, both of them.
Yeah, Audi's
And
its own. The two Red Bulls are the Ford motors.
who are we
Mm.
forgetting?
So we
Cadillac.
really only have four engine suppliers, and technically Honda's one of its own at the current moment. So
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting indeed. But I get what you're saying. I don't think it's unfair to the teams that don't make their own, but at the same time, like that's part of the game, right? Like,
it is, and I don't know. Like I feel like it's such a big thing that they're like. I guess the only point that I could really see from that is like it's kind of annoying that everybody else is such a stickler about like having random inventions within the car. I mean, look at Mercedes like motor testing that they were doing at the beginning of the season, but like God forbid like somebody gets more testing on an engine because they built like I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I feel like there's a little bit of hypocrisy there. I don't know. Not that I'm saying that it should change, but it's just kind of a
yeah,
weird topic to get into.
F1's an unfair game.
It's so weird what they let like slide and what they don't let obviously exist.
Exactly. But
I don't know, it's just weird, but I did see that Lando was saying that apparently there's been a lot of work on the cars this week, so
it's gonna like they're gonna catch up. Like these teams are always gonna be ahead of
it
everyone. Like
happened, it happened last year. Like I don't
I'm very convinced Red Bull's a lot closer than people realize.
I agree.
Hadja looked good. I think if Max was up there, he was going to be competing with them as well.
I agree with that.
Speaking of
I
Max,
100% agree.
speaking of Max,
I was just about to say, speaking of Max,
GT Nürburgring, 24 hours. He's preparing himself for Le Mans. It's so obvious, and
I agree.
he's racing in an I believe a Mercedes, which is crazy.
It is a Mercedes. It's a Mercedes. It's a Mercedes decked out in Red Bull. I don't know if you saw the commercial for it. It was actually pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's pretty
There was a
sick.
commercial. It was really cool. You'll have to look it up.
So it's just
Forget
going to
where it
lead to the Mercedes and Max rumors again, but I think the way that they're probably going to drive this year, I feel like that'll be shut down pretty quickly. But
I agree.
um, we'll see. I'll watch it. Like we talked about today that we want to get in a Indy car, but I would absolutely watch Nürburgring 24 hours.
I was gonna say, well, and it's like, I don't know. I think it's interesting getting into the different avenues of racing, like IndyCar, NASCAR, even like GT racing, because it's like like here, like you have multiple drivers that basically cross race. Like you have Max racing in GT, like while simultaneously doing F1. I don't know. It's just like,
Like the
it's
conversation we
interesting
had
how
last
different.
week, Triple
Yeah,
Crown conversation. Yeah, it would be
it's very
pretty cool.
interesting.
Be cool. Um, yeah, that's all the news we have, but we have some stuff to talk about in terms of fantasy and F1 predict.
Cool.
uh, as we get to the Chinese Grand Prix. But for fantasy wise, me and Sydney are on kind of opposite ends of the spectrum this week. In the league, I had the best team because obviously I'm just amazing. Sydney, she's also amazing, but she was dead last. Um,
Yeah, I did pretty bad. I got screwed. I got screwed. I
well,
don't want to
how'd you
hear it.
get
I got screwed
screwed? How'd you get screwed?
because Hajar literally didn't even finish. So I got
I
minus
had
20 on that. And then Oscar was out the entire race. So I got minus 20 points on my McLaren as a constructor. So I literally got screwed.
yeah, I had Charles, Max, Ollie, Lindblad, Checo, Audi, and Ferrari. So like Audi did bad, Checo did bad. Everyone else did pretty good. My other team was awful. I had Checo. Actually, I don't even know. I made some changes to that team already, so I have no idea what I had. But um, I did make changes to my team. Sydney said she's going to roll with the punches and keep going.
I'm gonna roll punches. I'm
Um,
gonna put some.
for whatever reason, Max is worth more than George Russell, and I didn't realize it. Obviously, Max, like, he had an unbelievable week last week fantasy wise because he went P20 to P6, but that's also basing it on him starting P20 every week, which isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
I swapped out Max for George Russell. Um, so my team is now Charles Leclerc, which I actually probably should change to 2X. I have 2X on Leclerc, but I'm going to keep it this week because you'll see my predictions. But 2X on Leclerc, Russell, Behrman, Lindblad, Checo, Ferrari, and Audi. That seems kind of ridiculous to me. I don't think anyone's beating that team. My
That's
other
insane.
team, I made 3 changes, so I'm automatically at -10 this week. But Checo and Valtteri are staying there. Hulkenberg staying. I added Liam Lawson and I took out, I want to say Arvid Lindblad because I needed some money. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure. And then I added Lewis instead of Charles. My teams are Ferrari and Mercedes. So that's gonna be the thing that puts me over the edge. We're gonna roll with the Ferrari and Mercedes punches on that one and see what happens.
Yeah. To be fair, I did not make a second team, so Dylan's at an advantage here. I don't want to hear it.
You're allowed to make a second team and add it to the league,
I
so
know, I just didn't. I'll figure it out.
well, you should next time. So
I'm so bad at fantasy. And
I still have no idea what I'm doing with it, but F1 predict me and Sydney were both top 10% in the world. We still
yeah,
both did pretty
great
bad.
scores.
Like,
Great
what did I
scores.
have? You had 50, I had 52, I think it was.
Yeah, dude, I literally think I got three questions. Two questions right, and then I got an extra 5 points on the placements just because I put George. Like,
Oh my goodness.
I don't think anybody could have predicted, honestly, what happened this weekend.
Um, I think with that being said, we should get our predictions done for F1 Predict. I have it up. I've already put my
Let's see.
podium
I
in.
picked up so, which I will say again, if you are using the app, still not available on
Yeah,
the
they got to
app. Don't
fix it because it's
I do.
ridiculous. But
I don't know how to fix it. It actually makes me very upset, but
yeah, so it is also a sprint weekend this week, which is
it is sprint
fun.
weekend.
If we remember last year with our sprint, good old Lewis Hamilton ended up winning the sprint in China. So, and that was in a bad Ferrari car. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, true.
But I've done my podium. I am ready to move to the next question when you are.
Ditto. I'm ready to move.
I actually want to write this down real quick so I remember.
Wait, it's the first. Wait, I should probably write mine too. Wait, what did I do? Ian,
Don't even remember.
I remember.
Okay. Are we on
I
to
think
question
you'll
two now?
like my predictions. Wow. Okay. We're basically the same. Kind of. Okay.
Sort of, kind of.
Q2. It's the
Question
first
two.
6. Where does Lewis Hamilton finish? Hmm.
Podium 4 through 10, 11 through 22, or not classified?
I'm gonna go 4 through 10.
I'm gonna go podium, and I am going to double down on it because Lewis is so good on this track all the time. You saw it last year in the sprint. I just like I feel like he keeps it going. I feel like he keeps going. I
Um,
don't think he wins the sprint, but he's on the podium.
I was gonna say he's definitely. I don't think he's definitely gonna win it, but
He's up there.
we'll
Uh,
see.
in the sprint, which driver finishes the highest between Arvid Lindblad and Liam Lawson? You know who I'm picking because I am the biggest Arvid Lindblad fan in the world now. I was
I'm
not bought
gonna
in, but I'm bought in.
I'm gonna go Lawson just because he's on my team and I need
You need
points.
him to.
So
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Which driver takes pole position?
which driver takes
And this is for the actual race. I have my answer.
Hmm. I don't. One second. Let me do some research. I kind of want to be bold with this.
I am being
Yep, I know
bold
what I'm
with
gonna
it.
do.
I am being bold with it.
So am I. You go first.
Well, should we go at the same time? Because I think we might have the same one.
Okay. What do you say?
All right.
Three, 2.
2, 1. Lewis.
Oh, I think Kimmy.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually hear you say anything. So, Kimmy, interesting. I'm on the Lewis train this weekend, I think. So, we're going Lewis and pole.
No, I'm gonna do Kimmy. I mean, Kimmy got P2 with like a botched car.
I think that is true. I didn't think about that. I mean, they probably fixed it during qualifying.
True. Still.
Which driver qualifies higher for the Grand Prix between the Williams drivers?
I'm gonna have to go with Albon.
I really want to go Sainz, but I'm gonna go Albon just because he hasn't been in the car enough yet.
I agree.
Um, although Albon hasn't looked great either. So that one's
I
kind of
don't,
toss-up.
yeah, Williams just not looking too hot, honestly.
Who will set the fastest time of the race? George Russell. I
You're
think that's fair to say.
gonna go George. I'm gonna go Max.
Okay. I'm going George. I think Lewis will have the lead off the start, which is going to help him, but I think George is going to be just tracking him down the entire time. So I think he'll probably be up there. Which team will set the fastest pit stop of the race?
I don't know, I just feel like Max. Did
Fastest
you
pit
get
stop. I don't
pit
even know who
stop
got it
last?
last week. I think McLaren did, and I'll roll with it again.
I agree. I also think Stroll's pit stop was 69 seconds. Science was 45. Wow.
Alonso had a 15-minute pit stop at one point.
Oh my God, yeah. It literally is wow.
Oh man. I went McLaren. Who did you end up going with?
I'm probably just gonna follow you with McLaren. I think I had McLaren last time too. I either had McLaren or Ferrari. I can't remember.
Okay. Will there be a
I'm gonna go.
safety? Oh, this is a new question. That's actually funny. This question basically knows that there's going to be a virtual safety car or safety car because they're saying, will there be one within the first 10 laps? I am going to say yes because
I'm gonna
there's,
go. No.
I'm going to say yes just because the obviously the concerns with the quality of the cars, but also the fact that China always has action. So we're gonna
True. I'm gonna go no. I do agree there's gonna be safety car, virtual safety car. I don't know, 10 laps is kind
10
of a
laps
lot.
seems yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm like I'm so 50-50 on it.
I'm gonna go no. I'll
Go against grain.
spice it up. Yeah. How many qualified finishers? Classified finishers. Man, I did pretty bad on this one.
I think we both did. Um, I'm lost because I don't know what Aston Martin's car is going to be, but I also don't think two guys don't start.
I'm gonna go 18. Yeah, I'm gonna go 18.
I'll go 17 because
Especially if there's expected to be safety cars and virtual safety cars, that's either gonna be from whatever or it's gonna be from retirement or crashes.
yeah.
So
So, which of these teams will score more points over the weekend between McLaren and Red Bull? I really don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do Red
uh,
Bull.
I'm gonna do McLaren. We had
And
Oscar out of the race. It's hard to tell.
yeah, but you had Oscar out of the race. Red Bull had Isaac out of the race.
Yeah, I know, true.
And Max drove, yeah, Max looked incredible. So Red
All right.
Bull, I'm actually going to double that down because McLaren scares
I
me.
kind of my predictions, I probably should say Red Bull, but I'm gonna go McLaren because I'm gonna have some faith, put some positive vibes into the atmosphere.
Yeah. So, um, don't love that I did that, but we're going to roll with it. So
All
that
right.
leaves us with our predictions that we have to make. And
I
with it
like it.
being a sprint weekend, we're introducing something new this year. For the sprint weekends, we're going to do the top three, and they're going to be worth 7 points apiece because they're going to be a little bit more than the actual race, but less than the actual bonus, right? I think that's fair. So we're going to do that. Last week,
Yeah.
no, we both did pretty bad. We're obviously doing 5 points for every single one that we get right, and then 10 points for a bonus. I got Lando right in fifth, purely out of luck. I ended up having Charles, George, Max, Oscar, Lando. Max and Oscar obviously weren't there. Charles and George basically swapped. ST Bestie got 11th, not 14th, but Lando got 5th. City had Max,
Mm,
Lando, George, Leclerc, Oscar, and then Alonso got she had Alonso with 21st, which means she was going to DNF. He did not DNF second though. That would be technically Oscar because Nico was qualified behind. So
true. I was close.
we're close. Although we did come back on the race at some point. So
True.
um I say we start with the sprint. You have it down already, so I'll let you go and
I
let you
do.
cook. Because I think we're actually
I
going to be
honestly
very
just have
similar.
no. I know. I just genuinely have no idea, and I don't know who to trust anymore or who to believe in. But I'm gonna stick with George P1. Um, I don't know, why not? Self-explanatory. It was either gonna be George or Lewis. So with that, I'm gonna put Lewis in P2. I'm just gonna go off of Dylan's faith of Lewis doing well. And then I think I'm just gonna ride with Kimmy. I figure Kimmy might have a good Saturday. Do I trust if he's having a good Sunday? Haven't decided yet, but
think that's very fair.
that's where
Uh,
I'm gonna.
I like it. For the sprint, I think the fact that they don't really need to have any strategy is going to help Ferrari because they can just put them on tires and let them go. With that being said, I think George is going to win because you have very little time to make up any ground. So if George gets ahead quick, he's gone. George getting first, Charles is getting second, Lewis is getting third. Ferrari, it's a lot harder for them to mess up a sprint race, right? So they're going to be two in the podium. I think the actual race is going to be a
Big.
lot different.
I
So
I like it.
let's go from five, but I'll let you start with your P5.
Oh, I don't even have a P5 yet.
I do.
Oh, see, this is why I'm like, ugh. I think I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to go agree with that.
With what I said,
Yeah,
please do. And let's hear what you said.
I'm gonna do Kimmy P5 again. I think we're off to a good start. He's in a Mercedes. I think he showed. I mean, dude, he finished P2. Like, I have faith in Kimmy. I don't know if it was a one-off this past weekend or if this is consistent. So I'm gonna have faith in him on Saturday. Not as much faith on Sunday yet.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you. Not because I don't trust him, because he did look pretty good besides the crash last weekend. I just think the four drivers ahead of him are better.
That as
And
well.
I think there's one guy ahead of him that we still have to see if that's actually the case, which probably gives it away that one of them is Max. If Max finishes behind him next week, I think it's safe to say that Kimi will be ahead of him for the rest of the season. If Max is at least competitive with him, I think it's more of a toss-up. But I think just the four drivers ahead of him are a lot better, which puts Kimi in fourth.
I agree.
Fifth,
I can see
excuse
that.
me. Fifth,
I
not
don't
fourth.
know. It's just so it's so hard to make these.
So what you do in fourth, Sid?
Oh, Orlando, I'm still gonna have some faith. I mean, he did P5. They're saying there's gonna be some work on the car. It's not like he drove bad last week. They're just like the car didn't have much pace, to be honest, compared to Ferrari and Mercedes. So I'm gonna have a little bit of faith there. I can't knock him off yet.
I don't mind it. I don't love it
Can't
because
knock
I
him.
think Kimmy's better in that one, but I'm shocked to see someone missing in your top five, though.
I knew you were gonna say that too, and
We're
I'm like,
gonna get
it's
to it.
so
We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it.
hard. It's so hard.
My P4, I'm rolling Max. I think his drive last week was pretty impressive. Red Bull did look good. I think Hadjar will probably be up in this conversation for the top five as well. Max is just better than everyone. He's going to be able to compete with the big guys because he's Max Verstappen, even if the car is not as good. He
Always.
showed it last year. I think this year is going to be a little bit different than last year because if we're being honest, I'm honestly don't know if George is a better driver than Lando. I think he's a more consistent driver than Lando, but Lando just has more potential to be like a higher ceiling. Lewis and Charles are just better drivers than Lando ever was. So it's going to be harder for Max to compete, but he's still going to. So he's going to be a P4 in this race. If that is wrong next weekend, I'm going to lose all faith until Red Bull figures it out.
I kind of agree with that. I have Max in P3. I think kind of the same whole same spiel. I mean, it's Red Bull's looking good. It's Max Verstappen. You can't expect anything more, can't expect anything less. I mean, again, dude, he went from P20 to P6, right? Like if
Again,
he had qualified, imagine if he had qualified, like God only knows where he would have sat last weekend. So it's like I don't know if I'm putting enough faith to put him in like P1 or P2, but he's definitely going to be top five, I would say. And like you said, unless Red Bull just
I like
kicks
it.
the bucket. I don't know.
I do like it. P3 for me. We're gonna go George. We're not going George. We're going Charles. Um, the top three is a toss-up every week, I think, because Ferrari's gonna get the starts well.
It's hard.
I think Lewis finishes ahead of Charles this week just because I think Lewis knows the track better and he has a lot more experience here. Um, yeah, there's really not much to it other than the fact that the top three are probably going to be the same top three every single week with Kimmy sprinkled in here and there. So
I I fully agree. I think with that, because I think your top two are basically my top two-ish, kind of.
Not at
I've got
all. What are
Charles
you
in
talking
second.
about? The guy that I have winning isn't
That's
even in your.
basically the same, dude. It's both a Ferrari and a Mercedes. I've got Charles and George. So I've got Charles in P2. I got George in P1. Again, Mercedes is like a freaking rocket ship. I think Charles did really well. I think he performed well last week. I- Again, it's just gonna be a toss up. I honestly, I should just start flipping a coin on who I want to put in each spot. Like
I think
I
we would have a
don't,
better chance of
I
getting it
probably have
right
better
than
odds.
either of us if we just did it that way. I have George getting second because of his
Oh
rocket
boy.
ship, and I have Lewis getting first because he's Lewis Hamilton. Lewis won a sprint in a bad Ferrari last year at China. Obviously, this isn't a sprint, and they still have to deal with Ferrari strategy, but it's also Lewis Hamilton at China. So it's going to be the year. It's going to be the race. He's going to get his first real win with Ferrari. George is going to give him a fight, but I think Charles is going to be able to pressure George enough to make it difficult, and Lewis is winning. So, do I feel
Our
confident in that
virtual safety
pick? Not at all. Am I
for
going to roll with it? Yes.
not,
So,
dude, no. George is gonna take him out. I feel it in my bones. Our virtual safety car is going to be George dive bombing Lewis Hamilton.
virtual safety car is going to be George on pole and not get off the line, and one of the Ferraris is going to go into the back of him off the start. Oh, man. That leaves the bonus. Let's get our random number generator up. As I'm sniffling, that's not good.
Number generator. What are we doing? 6 to 22?
Yes.
Okay, I got it up. Whenever you're ready.
I'm getting it. 6,
I kind of hope I get 6.
22. It's up. You can't see it. It's there. I didn't click it yet.
You got this.
Ready? Click.
Yep.
20
Okay,
for
you can't see
you.
my screen.
6 for me. Let's go.
That's it.
Oh, that's huge. So I got 6, you got 20. Who did I say was gonna get
Yeah,
6?
I don't know who you said. I know who I would say, but
Well, you would say Lando based on what I said, but I don't think I'm gonna say Lando.
I would pick a McLaren, but that's not you. Man, P20, bro.
That's just who's gonna crash again. Because there's gonna be, I think there's gonna be 3 people out. Are you kidding me?
Ah, yeah, I know, but which is gonna be the third? Um,
I'll go my 6th. I think I have it.
go
Actually,
for it.
no, I don't. Let me see who won last year, because that's gonna
I
affect who I see it. So
I hate to say this, but I know who I'm gonna put.
let's hear it.
I'm gonna put Signs in P20.
I
He's had way
actually
too many
like
car
that pick
issues.
so much.
He's had way too many car issues, and I'm gonna put it as a 20 in the sense that he retires or does not start because I have Hulkenberg has had issues. He did not start this past weekend. Aston Martin is just a train wreck. I could see Cadillac going out. I could see
I think one of the
a
Cadillacs goes out for sure.
one of our top ones going out. It can literally be anything. I see signs going out.
See, this is karma for you. You had the easy one last week because we thought that Alonso was going to just be out for one
Oh
thing.
no.
They put me right in the middle, so this is karma for you. Now it's a little bit more even. Obviously, you didn't get it last week, but that was just unfortunate for you.
That was close.
P6 for me. I'm going Oscar Piastri.
That's
Um,
exactly as well.
which I'm again not too confident with it because I think Oscar, Lando, and Hadjar are all going to be up there.
It's
Um,
so
because I think Hadjar is going to be a lot better than people expect. The only reason putting Oscar in front of Lando is because Oscar beat Lando by 10 seconds in China last year. It's the wild card is Isaac Hadjar. That's where I'm going to be at, and we'll see what happens. But it's also like
I
Oscar hasn't dealt with the regulations in a race yet, so who knows? There's a lot to think about.
I would also put Oscar. So I think we're on the same page with our bonuses this week.
Okay, then there we go. I
I
wasn't
like it.
out of breath after these episodes, man. Like, I feel like I just ran a marathon again.
Too much talking, too much yapping.
Too much yapping. Fun yapping because F1's back. And I'm feeling these first two episodes I feel like have been very high quality compared to the last couple of the last season. So I'm liking
I
this.
agree.
I want to keep this up.
I agree. I totally agree.
So when is the race this weekend? The race is
Sunday at
Sunday
like 4
morning.
a.m.
Oh my God. Am I gonna stay
Maybe.
awake
So
for that? Probably not. I
so
could.
technically practice one is at 11:30 tonight. Um
Wait, when's qualifying?
so sprint race is technically
Oh
11
my
p.m.
God,
for
there's a sprint
today.
race too. Forgot about that.
Sprint
That's
race is on
nuts.
Friday. Qualifying is at 3 to 4 a.m. on Saturday, and then the race is from 3 to 5 a.m. on Sunday. I will not be watching it. Thank you very
I'll
much.
probably watch the sprint if it's only at
I'll probably
11. I'll
watch
watch the
the
sprint.
sprint race, but will I be? I'm probably not going to be watching the race.
Watching it
I
live.
have
Watching
sadly,
it live. You're gonna watch the
yes,
race, just not live.
I will watch the race, just not live. I will not be watching the race at 3 a.m. I value my sleep on Mondays too much. Thank
I
you.
did that one time when we were at school by myself. This was before I knew you knew F1 like that. I watched it by myself on my couch at 3 in the morning at Park on Morton, I believe. No, maybe. I don't know. One of the apartments. My roommates were not thrilled with me, but it's fine. Um,
We
because I
got
don't have
early
roommates
race.
now. I just have parents that I live with. So, and
Yeah.
one of them's gonna watch it with me. So,
Yeah, we got some early races coming. Japan's early too.
Japan, 1 a.m. is more doable. I can deal with that.
1 a.m. is doable, but 3 to 5 a.m. is a little insane.
I agree with that. But we'll see who the true F1 fans are. Maybe I go to Stout for it or something. Stout at 3 in the morning. Watch this race. That'd be funny.
They're totally not even open.
All right. Well, I think it's time to wrap this episode up. Um, you know the drill. Follow the TikTok. We posted our predictions. We'll do it again. We'll do it again this week. I like that.
I was planning on it.
Good. Follow the Instagram. What else? Subscribe, like the video, share with your friends. Giveaway coming soon from my money and not Sydney's money. Um, but yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Like always, this was a fun episode. It's gonna be a fun race.
I
Ferrari's
agree.
back. It's gonna be great. And we'll see you later. Peace.
See you later.